Morning, all. Happy Monday. I'm going to turn on some maybe lo-fi. Lo-fi. Maybe not. Maybe so. Maybe. I don't know. There we go. Is that so lo-fi? I can't hear it. I can hear it. We're good. All right. All right. It's Springs Monday, which means we got to spring into action. Also means we got to think about a Springs joke, which that one's a good Springs joke, but it's not a Springs joke, you know. However, start by loading up this and getting it started. No, I'm in the wrong folder. I think this doesn't work like I want it to. All right. That didn't help me. All right. The random generator has generated the Oracle of Random. Oh, that's good. Oracle of Random Generators. Oracle. Oracle's funny. Got to be something funny in Oracle and random generators, or maybe Oracle and AI. The problem with Springs, good morning, Brent. The problem with Springs is technically they are all AI. Good morning, Donald. I understand, barely awake. And you do what you need to do, my friend. Yeah, I do too, but it was designed for for Kerbal so that I'd be up here at the top. Do you think it's better there though? Because you can like see the controls down here on the left side, like our color swatch and stuff like that. It's like the most useless place on the screen. But I feel like it should have some kind of like border or something around it. Ooh. What do you think? We think we should have some kind of border while we think about our joke. Health issues. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm sorry to hear that. It's different. Fair. I wonder if I should. You know what? I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to, since I'm thinking of, I'm working on it. It's brewing. There's something in here with Oracle and AI as a joke, and I just can't get my brain to work with it yet. But I will. I will. So what we're going to do though is before we do that, I'm going to do something else over here. And rather quickly, just for a moment here, we're going to fuss with the Quack background sort of thing, because we don't really need to worry about the Quack background per se, but it's the right aspect ratio for our monitor, right? Because it already tells us what our monitor's aspect ratio is. Although I kind of want to, did somebody hit the red button? Kind of want to, maybe I should just grab the whole thing. There. We'll just grab the whole mess here. We'll say new. And by height, like 2, 4, 6, 8. Maybe not 8. That's probably not right, but you know what? It'll work. All right. We'll catch all of the pages. And then the movie will get the correct size of just about everything, because we'll know exactly what's going on here. Change canvas size. So we'll bring the canvas size out to about there-ish, give or take. And bring it up to here-ish, give or take. There we go. So what I'm looking at here is just all of my screens, all 3 of my screens set up correctly. So now I can kind of take a look at where everything is showing up. For example, on here, this is where my window is showing up, which is good. So now I can kind of get an idea of how big is my monitor at this point in time. And then let's find a home for it over here. Right. Like, where do we want to put it? We've got to make it bigger though, so that it fits properly. Because right now it's not scaled correctly at all. And it's still on top of some of the controls and things like that, which I kind of don't want. So we're going to find a that doesn't look like I'm actually doing real work. I know. Shut up. I don't want to do real work either. Which actually, if you could ever extract yourself from blankets, this might be a good day to come in here and like try to figure out how we'd set up Twitch and stupid stuff. Stupid. Grumble, grumble, grumble. It's Monday. But you don't got to. There's no requirement. It shouldn't say, it should say to stream is to stream. In fact, as you can see, that's what the controls say right here. I know. This is exactly where my controls are showing. So, if you've ever wondered what my control panel looks like, by the way, this is it, right? So up here is OBS, which has a chat window inside it, so I can see the chat window here as well as here. I've got control of my audio mixer. These are my scene setups, and here's my control panel. And then, of course, what's in the preview window there, what I'm actually transmitting. And then here is my page that's full of Restream. And here are all of my brand controls in the Restream. And here are all the extra guests that come in. I don't know. I reset them this morning, so that's Restream being weird. I don't know. I could stop the stream and restart it, but I'd dump everybody. Probably not worth it. Yeah, I didn't think so. It's probably not worth it. All right. So here's what I want to do. I kind of like leaving the weather on here and the time because it kind of gives me a time date stamp, even if it's too small to really read per se. But that's kind of cool. So, but everything else, I'm like, you don't need to know what programs I'm running. That's kind of weird. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a frame that fits around you. Cute. Appreciate it. So I feel like here is probably the best place for me to hang out. I mean, not so good when I'm working on Quack, but other things I'm working on, I tend to work in this center section. So if I were to make myself that big, that'd be reasonable. I'll add another layer. Head jippin' whoopin'. All right. Okay. The wife has opened the garage door. We had a problem over the weekend where our garage door just started opening and closing randomly. And so now I'm watching, she's leaving. So I'm going to watch the controls on the garage door real quick to make sure. Because one of the things it was doing was she would leave, close the garage door. She'd get about 200 feet away from the house, and then the door would open again. The beam is blocked. She's driving through the beam right now. Beam is unblocked. She's driven through. Okay. This is like a live event of, and the door is closed. Now let's see if it stays closed. So what we were theorizing was happening was that her remote control or her app on her phone was geofencing when it shouldn't have been geofencing. So there was a function that our apps can do where if you get close, if your phone gets close to the garage door opener, it automatically opens the garage door. But we discovered when we first got it that when you set it up, that means that it pretty much opened and closed the garage door at random as you walked up and down the stairs and stuff like that. And it was stupid. So we disabled it on both of our apps. But we think that some update in Apple re-enabled it. And even though that didn't say it, it re-enabled it. So that's become a thing. Yeah, it actually turned out to be just a goofy update with that because the garage door is now closed and looks like it stayed closed and hasn't reopened, which is good because I don't want to have to remove the app from my phone because I like being able to monitor what that door is doing. However, if it happens again, now that she has uninstalled the app from her phone, if it occurs again, we're going to have to uninstall it from my phone because it's a programming error and not, in fact, anything bad going on, just a programming error. So, shrug. Makes me bitter and angry, like usual. Okay. I need to find the perfect blue. I need to figure out where I put the perfect blue. Zero 0338A5. Why does it look different every time? Like, that doesn't look the same. It isn't. The app is confused. That doesn't surprise me, I guess. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to take a look at what we're doing up here. I'm going to go like, no. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Why is it on gradient? That's a weird one. Of all the controls you could be on. All right. It gives me a nice little spot. Yep. Very much a different perfect blue. That was a creepy ass movie, though. Perfect Blue. You want to talk about really creepy? You want to see something really scary? Yeah. And by something really scary, we are not, in fact, talking about you, you weirdo. You're like, yes, I want to see something really scary. It's a Twilight Zone quote. It's a quote from Twilight Zone. And now, cat butt. It's a quote from Twilight Zone. Ooh, yeah, all the feels, all the fuzzies. Why are you? I am perpetually wondering why you are wet sometimes, you goofy animal, you. What have you been into? What have you gotten into, you weird beastie? Oh, especially with this much data. Can you imagine what would happen if we were at dial-up speeds? Oh my goodness. Hang on, I'm getting that out of here. Getting the goobers out of your eyeballs here. Here we go. Here we go. That's totally something that would happen and be like, want to see something really scary? Memer. I hope somebody out there captured that sound. I'm sure we could find it somewhere. The sound of dial-up going dial-uppy. Oh, screenshots, Ejvanis. That's Donna level joke. Good job, man. That was definitely a Donna level joke. Oh, I don't know if you're still on here, Can. I'm thinking of getting rid of the name tags on the bottom there because you and I have to constantly fight over what name it is, and instead putting it on this bracket or on the outside. What are your thoughts on the matter? We'd have more control over where they are on the screen as an overlay. I guess Can doesn't want to do that. I have stopped doing what I was usually doing, which was putting my @GS_Davis art on here, because I will be like 2 minutes late to start the show, and I'll be like, oh crap, I gotta log in. Oh crap, it wants my password. Oh crap, I've got to rename everything. Oh crap. It's added so many things to getting into the start of the thing. George is so floofy. And he's so purry this morning. He's a purry furry. Oh, you don't care? Are you a purry furry? Boop. Boop. It also could be personalized. Okay, but as much as I love you, you are stopping me from doing anything. You know that, right? This is like totally not something you're worried about, is it? That's what I thought. You really don't care. Okay, well, I'm going to go over here real quick, and hopefully you will follow me because you'll think it's fun. See? You are at least consistent. You are also the flutiest flute. So today, we're going to have people coming over to look at our ductwork and see if maybe there's a way for them to get rid of the dust. I am really allergic to dust, like super allergic to dust. Oh yeah, George needs water. Off he goes to be part of the. Anyway, I'm super allergic to dust, and so my wife and I were talking about it, and we were thinking that we should get people over to clean the ductwork in the house, which pretty much hasn't been done since we moved in ever, and might be contributing to my ongoing problems with allergies and stuff like that, and making me feel really miserable. Which reminds me, I should open the window a little, because then I can let fresh air in. Now that it's done being ridiculously windy. Ah, there you go. Yeah, you can go look outside. Go look outside. See what there's to see. It's 7 degrees Celsius outside, which is a beautiful, beautiful temperature. It's a great temperature to open the window just a little bit, let some fresh air in. The cool part is, because this is my sliding glass window, it vents from both sides. Once you open the door and crack the seal, the air comes around both sides of it. So I've got airflow coming in the front and the back of this door. Not so much fun in the middle of winter when it's, really cold, because this side will leak if that side's not properly sealed. Which is something that we're going to have to think about. I have a couple of ion cleaners. I've got one of them in the bedroom, but somebody we know, and I won't name any names, but he lives in this household, will jump up on top of it and walk over the top of it all the time, and he ends up hitting the power button. And so I don't notice for 3 or 4 days that it hasn't been on and hasn't been doing its job, because, I know that we can't think of anyone in this household that would be like that. Can, you are in really, 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 there we go. Much better.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, you caught me in a joke when you were asking all those questions.
I did.
Because it was the thing about dial-up being the horror for the new generation,
Oh, I see.
and then
Yeah, I guess he doesn't like this plan. I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna go cry because Can doesn't like it. Uh-oh, Can just died. We lost Can. Miss him, miss him. He's getting some wind out there, though, so I think that explains why he's having connectivity issues. Because we're even down here in Arvada, it's kind of windy. And he's coming back. He's coming back. Well, we'll get him back here in just a moment. Sort of getting him back here. Boy, that was brutal. We'll wait for him to get him. I'll let him let himself in. You can let yourself in whenever you get to that point, Kane. Kind of like George. I'll let you let yourself in, George. Kane will be playing the part of Cat for this duration of this show because he's not really here. He's the Cheshire Cat. Boy, he is having problems, though. Really having issues. It's kind of a bummer. He'll get here. And that put me in a nice border. Good. So that's where a good place for me to live will be, is up there in that corner. And then I'll put this up here on the overlay for the drawing monitor, and that should make this a lot easier. And then I'll have like a thing. And it won't show what's on my status bar, which I kind of like that a little bit better. He's trying to get in here. He's having a lot of problems.
and
There we
then
are.
Chrome keep daring.
Yep.
Ah! Too scary. Too scary.
Yeah, you guys we were all talking about dial up, and that was the end of Chrome. It couldn't deal with that. Talking about it. It's just too much for it to deal with. Anyway, so I was thinking of doing something like this where all of my information is on the bracket around the outside edge. And then that way it's always on a bracket, no matter which way I do it. And then it doesn't have to be, I don't have to type Guy every time. And you don't have to type K in every time. I lost him again. I know I was like, I saw your personal message, Patsy, and you were like, I saw your personal message. I was like, Patsy, can you hear us? But it was like 12 o'clock midnight. I saw the message. I misinterpreted some other signal from some other app on my phone as your PM message. And so you PM'd me effectively. And then I saw the message at midnight and went, oh no, Patsy's trying to get in here. So I'm like, can you hear me? That just added all kinds of wonderfulness to it. It was a wonderful thing. You might want to try Firefox. I have been really tired like that too. I understand. Kind of want to make this. I kind of didn't want to do that though. Make this have just a little bit of Bellatrix-esque rising sort of realism here. No, it was all good, man. It was funny, and like everything, I'm willing to do just about anything for a good story. So as long as it makes for a good story, I never call it a bad thing. Because good stories are the best part of life in real life. So something you can chuckle at and laugh at and things like that is better than gold. We absolutely could chuckle and laugh at that. So, and not necessarily in a bad way. In a, yep, we've all done that sort of way. We've all been there. Those are my favorite stories. All right. So what I'm trying to do today is kind of up the frame around the outside of my picture here so that we can put my because we were saying we kind of like my picture up here. Well, putting my picture up here is kind of cool because it gets it out of the way of the art in a lot of ways. And then I can make a different frame for Kerbal when I'm playing Kerbal because you kind of have me up here. And it's funnier when they have the little Kerbal portraits. They sit up here too. And so Kerbal portraits are the best. And so I could put me up there with the Kerbal portraits and just go, during the game, and it'd be great. There we go. I'm going to turn that off and turn that off. Turn that off, and that's what we have left. And so I'm going to, real quickly, I'm going to put in guides at the correct size for this. That way, my that one's good. That one's definitely good there, Donald. That's a solid joke. trying to make sure I get exactly the right size. There we go. And now I can take and put this part, take that part out. And what we have is just a nice little, like, a Kerbal. So, Kerbal Space Program is a program, it's a game of which you are trying to get these little green guys called Kerbals, and there's a whole bunch of them. They've got a space program, and they're trying to get to the moon, M-U-N, from the planet Kerbal. And the game, you've got all these parts. You've got, fuel tanks and rocket motors and fins and, different things, including lights and landing gear. And you have a bunch of parts, and you can build the rockets. And 9 times out of 10, the rockets just explode or fall over, or all kinds of funny things happen because you don't build it right. But at some point, you actually can manage to get your little Kerbal up to the moon, and then he gets out and puts his little flag on there, and it's a wonderful, fun thing to do. And it's the entire system. Kerbal had the entire system in it. So it had Jool, which was really Jupiter, and Minimus, which is it had all the other planets in the system. And like Kerbin, which is the main planet, had 2 moons. So it's not exactly our solar system, but it's really, really close. And so, like, part of the thing was, it's been around since 2011. It's an old game, Kerbal Space Program. It's an old game, and it's, it's got and there's all this stuff that has happened since then. Kerbal, in the original game, Kerbin didn't have a lot of detail. So the space station, or the launch center, if you will, was the vehicle assembly building with a little track to the launch pad, with a runway right next to it, with a couple of other little buildings and stuff like that. And that was literally the only thing that was on the entire planet of Kerbin. So there was like no one there but these Kerbals doing the space program. Now the new one has got, they just released KSP 2 on Friday, but it's buggy. It's got some real problems to it. It's an early release, and that makes some sense. But now they've like modified it and everything. Like the planet Kerbin now has mountains and islands and the ocean and all kinds of stuff. And it's super, super cool. But it does have some serious bugs going with it. And my Kan and I have a buddy, B. Shimoda, who has been playing it a lot on early release. They released it early saying, hey, this is still a beta. It's not ready to go completely, so please be patient with it. And of course, everybody is whining and saying it's too early. And I'm like, it's not. It has some weird glitches, but it is playable. And like one of the weird glitches that it does have right now is every so often you'll set the orbit computer for a new orbit, and it will go weird, like totally go weird. Okay. Okay. I'm just checking to make sure that everything is correct. Oh, hey, Kiddo's upgraded one of his scores to an A. That's useful. But it's here, I'll show you, because I landed on the moon last night. And I posted the picture, which, you probably saw, but I'll show it again because it's cool. So yeah, that's This is a Kerbal, and this is Valentina, and she put the flag up on the moon, and we're on the surface of the moon. But you can see we've got controls over here like a horizon ball with all of my, with like all the controls that tell me where we are in orbit and all the information. And here's our thrust control, and here's the altitude controller and things like that, and our orbital info. And then we've got controls right over here that tell us, that they give instructions to the rocket to put the rocket on there. And and one of the other ones that happen, I'll give you a wider shot because that's a pretty close shot, but you can see you build these rockets. It comes with this can up here, and then you can put in different pieces. In this instance, there's like a reaction control unit right here, which keeps it stable. Here's a battery pack. Like this stack has different pieces in it. Then, of course, I put solar panels on it. And then here are my rocket pods, and then the landing gear, and and all of that you assemble onto the rocket in the vehicle assembly building. So you build it, and then you build a whole stack. And I built it very similar to a Saturn rocket stack. So the Saturn 1B, it had a Saturn 4B booster, and all this stuff. So I went ahead and built like the whole structure, and it was great. So anyway, it's a fun game, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoy this game, and I have always enjoyed this game. And the kiddo likes to play it too, but his whole thing is that he likes to just crash the rockets. So he goes through Kerbals like water. It's really sad. I, on the other hand, work really hard to keep my Kerbals alive. And every Kerbal has a different personality. Some Kerbals are like completely nutsoids, so you put them into the rocket, and they're like, yay! Even when the rocket's heading straight for the ground, they're like, yee, this is so much fun. And some of the Kerbals are like freaking out, and it's so funny. And it's just an adorable game. But it's got real world physics in it. That actually is exactly what people say. It's like the modern version of Lemmings. But the thing about Kerbal that is so cool is that it's got real world physics. And so if you do the math correctly, you can easily tootle around the solar system. And that's what I was doing, is tootling around the solar system. So there was that. And it was cool. I'm going to save as. And go out to Guy the Artist. Daily Show. Save this as a PNG. And say. So, now that I've done that, I'm going to go over here, check sources, add, image, and find it. I don't know. I never see them without. They're always in spacesuits, even on Kerbin, which does sort of lend to the theory that maybe Kerbin isn't their home world. I don't think that did what I wanted it to do. Well, maybe it did. There. we go. Look at that. See, now I'm up in the corner. I've got a little frame around me. It says down at the bottom down there what my name is and everything like that. And this even works whenever we have other people. I don't necessarily now need to do the name thing. Right? Right? Got the chat overlay. Under graphics, there was a tick that says to put people's names, and I just need to figure out where that tick went. Well, that was the idea, was it would look, it sort of has sort of the same, the Astronet, which is the graphic design of Bellatrix Rising. Astralnet. Maybe I should put Astralnet up here. And that'd be kind of cool. Although legitimately, I don't think it would say it in English, but you know, hey. It's like LCARS. LCARS is the name of all of the things in Star Trek, all the graphic design in Star Trek. And the graphic design in Bellatrix Rising is called Astralnet. And it's Astranet. Oh, that's cool. I like the idea of the acrylic markers. There we go. See if it updates later. It may update later. Oh, or it updates right away. That's horribly useful, actually. Okay, cool. We've done that. That makes me feel better. I don't need that. I do need this. So we're here on this one. All right. Trying to figure out what we're doing. Oh, man. So, we need to make a joke. I actually haven't done a one-framer in a long time. I'm kind of thinking about what could I do that would be a one-frame joke. Oh. Yeah, I'm making springs. It's Springs Monday. We're supposed to be doing springs on Monday, but apparently I'm also doing like random maintenance on Monday. Funny space bone. Space funny bone. Oh, I know what to do. Can a robot have a funny bone? That's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to do a one panel because I haven't done a one panel in a long time. And I think I'm just going to modify your joke that you said, Donald. I think your joke was perfect in its own way. I'll pseudo pilfer it, though not, majorly pilfer it. Major pilfer. My stool is in the wrong spot. This is your fault, George. I'm going to blame you anyway. Aw. Yeah, I try to do a Springs every Monday. That's the battle plan for 2023. That's my goal. So if you're here every Monday, then you can help me remember to do Springs. So that could be a thing that you can do, and that'll be awesome. Okay, so this is our blue line. We'll do this. Geek Take probably always needs a topic. We're good at this. What's our topic tonight? We have no idea. Bing! Bing! Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. That's good. Oh, acrylic markers are pretty nifty. Okay. Good luck, my friend. We'll see you later. Re-hi. I haven't heard that one in years, Patsy. Perfect for this particular comic. I'm just saying. How perfect that would be a thing. We haven't done that in ages. I love Re-hi. I took a couple of screenshots of the old forum a couple of times where either we said something or did something, and I wanted to keep it for memory purposes. I feel like I've probably seen this joke a couple of times. So that's okay. It's all right. We'll do the Springs take on it. And and I tried to save. I saved a whole bunch of pictures that we did and artwork. Now Brent's just working. He'll be back. But Can is having massive wind right now out at his place, and it keeps knocking him offline. And so he's coming in and then dropping right out, and then comes back in and then drops right out. So he's trying, but Yeah, Brent's here. He's just working away. But the 3D model work that I did back then has totally informed how I do my comics today. Because, of course, there was a whole bunch of stuff that went on about how you weren't supposed to use Poser for comics and stuff like that. Like, people would use Poser for comics, and just like the AI stuff for today, people would say that's not real art. You know, you did the artwork in Poser, that's not real art, and stuff like that. And I remember all of that, and it kind of informs a little bit of what I do today, which is interesting in and of itself. There was all of that discussion, and we even had that discussion on CBB, and we had that discussion on Poser Forum prior to CBB, and it's fascinating to me that all of that still talks to what I do today. Like, I mean, even right now, I'm in the middle of working on Bellatrix, where I am working on setting up this scene right here, where I have one character reporting for duty to the other character, right? And I'm trying to set up this scene. And I've made the scene with, various characters are still in here. I've got stuff kind of going on all over the place. And like, I've been trying to make this is all my work. Like, even the Dorito chip here, this is all my work, and I've worked really, really, really hard on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's really difficult, and I've done all this work, and it's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm having a blast. But on the same token, I remember us sort of discussing, is this real art when I trace these maquettes? And of course, that's been the ongoing argument. And a lot of it, some of it has to do with the fact that I got onto rec.arts.something, and that they really just raked me over the coals for it back in like 2004 or 2005. But we also had these very intellectual, very nice, not evil, not bad discussions on Poser Forum and CBB as to whether this was real art or not. Doing artwork in Poser, is that real art or is it not? And so it's a fascinating thing to have this discussion about this. And then now we're talking about AI. Is AI real art or not? Because, as someone who has used maquettes and been through this same discussion, it's fascinating too. But on the same token, it is pretty obvious, those of us that sort of pioneered Poser art back in the day, if you look at that Poser art now, it's obvious that it's Poser art. I mean, you can see clearly that it's Poser, you know what I mean? And it's fascinating to me that it's fascinating to me that we're sort of having the same discussion today. I considered what I did in Poser to be art, even though I am an actual traditional artist. Like there's nothing, I'm not doing anything here that's got a Poseroid underneath it or a maquette of any sort. Um, so clearly I can draw of my own accord. There's nothing wrong with that. So the question really became one of those, is what I'm doing with Poser, is that legitimately artwork or not, you know? That's funny. And so then it becomes the same question. If you're using AI, is that the same thing? Is that not, you know? It's always something that yeah. Yeah, well, and that's the same thing. There was no skill if I went to Midjourney and said, you know, generate 7 of 9 in a Christmas outfit, and it makes a picture of 7 and 9 in a Christmas outfit. You can't really say that that was me doing a painting, right? There is a phenomenal artist who is on the Star Trek forums, and I know you've seen her work. She's this watercolor artist, and she works in big format. And she's been doing pictures of all of the Star Trek characters, Spock and Sarek. And right now she's working on the bird of prey coming underneath the bridge from Star Trek 4. That, and she is so good. She is so good. Everything she does is spectacular and so spot on. Her colors are perfect. Her design is excellent. And you can't just say that if I went and went onto Midjourney and said a picture of a bird of prey, Klingon bird of prey in the style of watercolors, you can't really say that that's the same amount of work that she puts in. She puts in so much effort and she's so skilled. Her skills are phenomenal. See, now I've got to figure it out. I'm actually now going to load up Discord because now I want to see whether Midjourney would do that. I want to see what Midjourney comes up with if I said bird of prey, Klingon bird of prey in watercolor. You know what I mean? Let's take a look at Midjourney and see what would happen if I went in here and just said See, now I'm curious. I'm horribly curious as to what it would do. I saw it and was and I like it. I like what you were doing on that one. I think it's actually done a real bird of prey, which is even funnier. Midjourney got very confused. But I'm not going to lie, that actually kind of looks nifty. Wow. I'm not going to lie, that's actually pretty wicked. So, as far as using AI though for something, this is actually pretty kick butt for just giving me ideas. But like, I can see the problems here. That's clearly a signature. You know, I will save this image. I've got an AI folder for, hey, this is a good thing for me to remember, like to modify or whatever. I'll save that image there. But that's fascinating in its own way. And actually, I kind of want to make it redo that and give me some more of those bird-esque designs, because I might use those for something else. But I'm going to take that and I'm going to repop that. And when I do, I'm going to use that as a spaceship design, and we're going to build it in Blender. And I'm just going to use it as a start. I'm going to use it as the bones of what a spaceship should be, because these bird-like... Will you leave the toilet alone, you pest? These bird-like designs are actually really pretty. It's merging like a bird with a spaceship. I'm not gonna lie, I'll save these. We'll use them for something else somewhere down the road. Like, these could be a bad guy in Bellatrix Rising to some degree, or a good guy. I don't know why we always do bad guys get all the cool ships. Bad guys should not get all the cool ships. I'll spin that one more time and then let it do a couple of more, and then we'll come up with some ideas on it. I like random. I get stuck in my same thought process, right? I'll get stuck doing the same things over and over and over. And so I like using AI to get me out of a rut. I like using randomizers to get me out of a rut. I enjoy all of that. Wow. This is sweet. Look at that guy right there. And this guy's pretty sweet too. I'm not going to lie, that one's pretty cool. Yeah, well, okay, so I've got a whole bunch of bird of prey spaceships. Now we've done our bit for King and Country. Okay. But that brings up that same thing. Okay, so I take that AI render. Now, no one invented that spaceship design, but it was a conglomeration of many other spaceship designs. I'm probably not going to use the details on that. I'm going to make it look my style, right? I'm going to take an interpretation of it and run the interpretation, which that's interesting. And I think that'd be cool. So, anyway, thought process. Yeah, Leviathan, living ships. I need to stand up again. Anyway, it is an interesting discussion and interesting topic of which to discuss. Right? And that's I don't know. In that instance, I like it better than reference photos because a reference photo I am likely to actually take, let's say, a Doug Chang picture and make it into my own piece. And then I find out that I really just pretty much aped his entire design. And then I feel really guilty and bad and stuff. So, it's right. It's a different kind of thing, but I like these bird ships. We'll use them for something somewhere, probably. If you were to look at actual Deistati vessels, maybe that's what Deistati vessels look like. It's these bird ships. In fact, now that I think about it, it might be kind of nifty to have Deistati vessels look like birds in some way and have their in-space engines trailing behind them. So the ships have their in-space engines in a cluster behind them, looking like the tail of a bird. And then that way, when the bird goes to in space, the tail just expands out like a peacock. That'd be interesting. So that'd be, and I mean, and there we go. All I needed was just a little bit of a spark. Right, exactly. I'm modifying my work, giving it a little bit of a different feel for that. And what I might do is go back once I've made, because the in-space engines in Bellatrix Rising have business. One of the things that I noticed was a mistake that they made in Star Trek that they talked about a lot was that warp didn't originally have business. When a ship went to warp in the original series, the stars moved a little faster in the background. But even when they were at impulse, the stars were still moving. They were just moving very slowly. So you couldn't tell. And it wasn't until the Next Generation, really until the movies, when they started doing the engines flash and it streaks and the little stars streak and all that stuff happens to indicate going to warp. And that's called business. It's giving the ship something to do. So I built that into Bellatrix Rising right off the bat. The ships have business. They have these arms that open up, and the engines split in half and open up, and then there's a spark or grid that goes between the two of them, like a network, depending on the ship. The Unity ships are always do sort of a hexagon grid. The Commonwealth ships, it looks more like a spider web. Kind of giving a little bit of a difference to each ship by what that grid looks like between the engines. And so, because the Unity ship, of course, is prim and proper, but you could have the Deistati ships that we're talking about with these wings and it looks like a bird. The web between the in-space engines could be like feathers and look like feathers and stuff like that. I think that'd be a thing. It's totally reasonable. I feel like our Beeplebury should be like whatever pink. Was pink ever a an Apple computer color. Not you. It was grayish white in the front, though, wasn't it? So we need to come in here and there we go. But off the very beginning here, I've always wanted to do, business so that it felt very much like it was doing its job, or like a ship was doing something. Yeah, their little Beepleberry or whatever they were called. I don't know what they were. Apple made, for a little while there, their Macintoshes were plastic that was slightly transparent and colorful, and they came in a number of different colors and things like that, which I actually really liked. That was a thing that they did that I liked. And then everybody went, I don't know. And I'm like, what? Okay. And then they went back to everything is gray or black. And I'm like, well. It was just like, well. All right. My favorite game on the TI-99 4A was Parsec. If you guys are ever wondering, I still have my TI-99 4A. It sits out in the garage. Probably worth absolutely nothing. But I love it, and that's fine. Right, I would think so too. That's something that always bugs me, is that if you have color variety, people feel like that's not marketable, and you can't do anything with it. And I don't know, it always feels like, we really hate doing that. It's like, but I like color. I like things that are colorful. I like colorful things. I grant I am an artist, and artists are weird, and I grant that, and that's fine. But it's still like, it's like we go out of our way to be you know what I mean? Like it, we never seem to We get rid of all the cool stuff. It's like our cars are always dull and boring because they're trying to always appeal to the lowest common denominator. So our cars are always black, white, or gray. And I hate that. I lose my car in the frickin' parking lot all the time. And I think the funniest part is they talk about how communist Russia was so brutalist because of communism. And I'm like, I don't know. Capitalism seems to make us pretty brutalist too. I mean, yeah, it's better, but it's still not like diverse. You know, we don't get a lot of diversity out of this. It's not. I'm not saying communism is better than capitalism. I'm just saying it's funny how that's an argument I keep getting into. Is well, if you want it to be communist, there will be no options or diversity. And I'm like, my cars are always dull and boring. They're always gray or black or white. And I'm like, that's still not any fun. I mean, we're not getting a lot. And it's because they know that nuclear green cars only sell to a few people, so they don't make them, And I'm like, I'd buy a nuclear green car any day. And it's interesting. Yeah, maybe it might be. I mean, Maya does not want a nuclear green car. She actually got a little blue car, and she's happy because it's a nice, calm blue. But she's also she's like, nope, you get the nuclear green car. I'm not getting anywhere near that. I will get nuclear green. I think that's awesome. Dodge is making their Chargers in nuclear green for a while now. And I'd be so there if I was interested in neon pink. I'd drive neon pink. What's funny is I wouldn't when I was younger, because of course, oh no, that's not manly. And now I'm like, screw that. That's the stupidest thing. I'll drive neon pink. That's dumb. All right. That's my dudes, my three dudes, sitting there having a discussion. Pull in the background. Got to go to Springs. Actually, we don't. No, we do. We got to go to Springs because we got to get the backgrounds from the Springs. Apparently, they just hang out on the plains out here. It's because people threw them out. Odds are good. Nobody cares about old computers anymore. Not you. Oh, where are we, by the way? We're at 267, guys. I think we skipped a week last week. Well, thank you. Thank you. Let me go in here real quick and just put a shadow on them. They look a little weird sitting out by themselves, not like they're touching anything. So I'm going to put just a quick little drop shadow on them. In black, please. There we go. There we go. There's nothing funnier to me than stacks colliding with heaps. That's still one of my favorite jokes, and I say it all the time, and everybody's like, what? I mean, like, that's still freaking funny. All right, last little bits on this. There we go. That's probably. That's better. There we go. I like the sound of the sound of dial-up written out is always, I don't know why, but the sound of dial-up written up is always funny in my book. I have no idea why that's so good. I'm glad you like it. I'm working off of what Donald was saying earlier. He gave me the prompt. Sometimes I just need a little bit of just enough to get started sort of thing, you know? Like just a little bit of a spin up and then we're good. Maybe get. Now I'm just working on it. Now I'm just kind of like crunching the numbers here on this and like, I can make that. This one's. I can make his balloon smaller, I think, which I probably ought to do. So we're going to go on ahead and flatten, and flatten, flatten, and then flatten, flatten. Nope. No. Can't go that far. Then I can take this and go like so. You know, it'd probably be just easier for me to just erase his bubble all the way across the board. And that'd be fine. Work. Then we can just redraw it. It'll be fine. The funniest part is I know if I show this comic to my child, he will go, I don't get it. Which in and of itself will make me laugh. There we go. There we go. All right. We'll save it so that it's now ready to rock and roll. And we got 10 minutes left before the show's out and Springs is out the door. Look at us doing our job. Should it be green? I like green. Green looks... No, let's do blue. We haven't done blue in a while. There we go. We'll save it again because we got to save it again. Actually, what we will do is change canvas size. Doesn't really matter because Facebook's going to freak out anyway. But hey, we'll give it a shot. So let's save, because now we've trimmed off the top and everything like that. And then I will do 2 saves because we've got to remember to do 2 saves. One is without the background like this so that I can use this later on. So we'll say save as in PNG and we save that. That's so that I can use this later for making books and things like that. Then we will put the background back on and we will say change image resolution. And we want it to be a width of 1200. Okay. We make sure that it didn't screw stuff up on the text because sometimes it does. Okay. Then we say save as, and we save it as a PNG with letters SM for small. Then we can close this guy. Do not save. We can close that guy. Deck plans. Like we need deck plans. We need deck plans. We always need deck plans. Everybody needs deck plans. We'll go over here. We'll go to daily social media and we will say Meta and we will post to Meta. We need as well, we need our controls for Instagram as we load all of these things in. These are my hashtags. Hashtags are vital. Okay, here's our Springs tags. Copy. And we will say, yep, plans have plans. Create new post. And then we wait for Meta to completely freak out. Post to Instagram, add photo, upload photo. Cough a lot. It's important. Go into Springs 2023. Grab that one. Say, oh no, because it's going to say, it's wrong for Instagram. Oh no. And so I will go into it and I will say, we'll crop it by 1 pixel. It's now cropped by 1 pixel. No matter which pixel I go, by the way, it is always off by 1 pixel. I don't get it. Right? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. I have fixed this every time. And it still doesn't make, it still freaks out about it going, no, you did it wrong. There we go. And today's Springs. Right? You guys all need a comic. Everybody needs a comic. And off we go. Publishing your post. This may take a second. We do the publishing post dance. Then we go view this on Facebook. Then we share to my feed. Today's springs for you all. Happy Springs Monday. There. And off it goes. It's in my feed. It's in that. Poor Can's like, I'm sorry. Tonight's stream, I'm back on so for tonight's stream, let's close everything. For tonight's stream, we're going to continue on with this scene, which we're working on at this moment. By the way, a couple of days ago was National Dorito Chip Day, and I thought about posting some Shakrana pictures for National Dorito Chip Day, because I mean, like, Shakrana, effectively Dorito chips with legs. So if anybody ever gives them a derogatory name, it's going to be Dorito Chip. I'm just saying. I'm actually trying to think about whether they have some flexibility in said Dorito chip. Like, can we move their shoulders? Right? I mean, looking at them kind of here, we've got like a minute or two before my stream's out. Like, can I move their shoulders? I should be able to. But if you move their shoulders too much, wouldn't that make their eyes get wonky? That'd be kind of funny. So you don't want to move their shoulders too much. They get all weird and stuff. So, National Dorito Chip Day. Tell your friends. Definitely Shakrana Day. I should see, the problem that I've got, of course, is that I think that we should go back and rebuild the Shakrana in Blender. And now that we figured out how to make it import correctly into Daz, we should redo it as a figure, because it would be so much easier to deal with if it was a figure than it is right now, where it's like, because he just looks stiff. I mean, it's okay for right now, for the here and now, but he just looks so stiff. And maybe while I wait for the people who are duct cleaning, I'll see how hard that'll be. Might be really easy. Might be really, really hard. I might really, really hate it. So, you know, I may say, that was a great idea. I'm never having it again. Entirely plausible. So, yeah, Shakrana are kind of cool. My actual aliens who are really, really aliens and not just people with bumpy foreheads. The Volmar are also pretty dramatic. There aren't any Volmar on the Kittiwake, but there are Volmar out there, and they're dramatic too. They look very dramatically different. I think there are like 7 sentient races. And I have changed my We decided to not. Oh, we aren't in the wrong thing. I've changed my requirements for what I'm thinking is sentience, and what is the thing that makes you part of a world that is different, or part of what makes you first contactable. And the rule for first contactable is, do you cooperate? Because are you domesticated effectively? That's going to be the new thing. All of these sentient races are domesticated, because that'll be the first most important thing, is what's the domestication level. Because if you are a creature who's domesticated, you're likely to cooperate, you're likely to work with each other, you're likely to have done more than just barely survive. And so a sentient race will not just be sentient, but are they domesticated? Sentience is one thing, domestication is another. And I've been trying to think of this one for a while, and it's been hard to think about, because it's like, I know there's more than just sentience, because sentience could be, theoretically, chimpanzees. Why are chimpanzees not counted? Why are dolphins not counted as a sentient life form on Earth? And they should be. They're inside the sentience window. We don't count them because of the fact that there is something else, and that is cooperation. So the races that make up Unity and the Commonwealth and all of the intelligences in our galaxy are all domesticated. And that's the thing. So, because domestication sounds horrible, but hello! How are you doing, Kayan? The wind has gotten better, I guess. I gotta go, though, because they're going to be here soon to do the blowing out of all of, well, at least to analyze what the situation is with all of my vents in my house. And so I've got to let them in so that they can look at all the vents of my house. It will be an eventful day. So, right, I am now leaving just as Kayan shows up. I'm leaving. I'll see you guys all tonight, as usual, right after Geek Tank. Geek Tank is from 9 o'clock p.m. tonight to 10 o'clock, and then I will switch over to this, which sometimes Kayan gets us started before I get over, and that's always cool. And if he's not, that's all right. I will start too, and I'm actually just not that pressured anymore to get us going on time exactly every day, because it seems like we seem to be doing fine as long as we just get going from time to time. As long as we get going every day, we're fine. I will see everybody later on, and as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.